Welcome to Side Notes. I'm at the Fringe Festival in Toronto. We're out and about. I'm talking to the gentleman who's from a bicycle built for two, the play. Johnny, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, no problem. It's a pleasure to be here.
Can you tell us a little bit about the play?
Sure. Basically, it's a playful reflection on the institution of marriage. We sat down with about 20 different couples and marriage counselors and picked their brain. And the byproduct is a comedy that follows three different couples at different stages in their relationships.
And what is your thoughts on the Fringe Festival here in Toronto?
Well, I guess it started classically as a way of trying to get venues for people who are doing new theater that may not have a stage at places like Mirvish or something like that. And so it's grown into this platform for new voices in theater. You can see the up and coming, and for audiences, you can see a bunch of shows for $10 each. So it's not really, you don't get many other options for that in Toronto.
And your production company that you started, I think you said you started about 2002. What other productions have you done?
We typically have tackled social justice issues. This one, not so much, but part of what our mandate has been is partnering with other NGOs and charitable organizations and basically helping to tell their stories. So this show in particular was commissioned by a counseling organization that has kind of a sliding scale so that anyone on welfare or even people who make a lot of money can all go to the same place for counseling.
And your website, real quick?
Our website is www.theaterthebeat.ca. Theater of the Beat is the company. So,
What are some stories that have been shared with you since you've started your production company from the different organizations that you talk to that really stand out in your mind?
sure. Well, part of what we do is after every show, not at the Fringes, but when we do our own tours, we hold a talk back with the audience, and basically that's just a conversation for people to process things. We don't really want the audience to just go home and go to bed or watch Jeopardy or something like that. We want them to leave and actually discuss some of the things the questions that were raised, and so just. Sometimes people from the organizations we partner with sit with us on stage, and so hearing their insight and hearing how the audience responds to the show differently and the questions that they ask, I guess that's really stood out for us. One of our tours we toured different prisons across Canada, and so hearing their responses was very, very heartwarming for us, and seeing big burly guys and tattoos crying after shows, and those kind of things will never leave you. So to see theater actually touching people's lives is a big part of why we do this.
When you were going through the prison system, were there any stories that really will stick with you for the rest of your life?
Yeah, I mean, the show that we were doing was focusing on inmates kind of reintegrating into society. And so one of the guys told us that even when he gets out, if people respond to him with hate, it's not because they hate him as a person, it's because they just don't understand him. And to see him kind of tearing up while he said this will, I don't think ever leave me. So just that idea of we don't always know what someone's story is, and theater is a good way of telling stories and also encouraging other people to speak their stories as well. And so that's kind of what keeps us going.
And what other tours are you guys going to be doing in 2014?
Well, right now we're just finishing up this. I'm going to be working with a local theater here in Toronto called the Tarragon for a short period of time. We're looking for new contracts right now. We're in conversations with a couple different organizations. We're looking about doing a show on surveillance and privacy, and if that's something that means anything to us, but that's still in the early stages. We're touring another show out to the Maritimes, the one that was about the offender. That's in the fall, and we're going to the States with this show in September as well. So we have a little bit of touring going on, but also this is a writing stage for us too.
And all this stuff is available on your website.
Yeah, we have 7 different shows that we have in our repertoire, and so you can go online and view all of our different shows as well as all of our different workshops, and our tour schedules there as well.
What is the one thing that you've noticed as you've gone through your writing career, you've done all this traveling, you've been through the prison system to talk to the different prisoners, all this other stuff you've done, what is the one common thing that you're noticing as you're going and doing all these shows?
Well, I guess a lot of what we do relies on other people, the generosity of people, the openness and willingness of audiences to participate. And so I guess I've just seen that if you put yourself out there and you're trying to do an honest thing that means something to you, that speaks volumes, and that audiences will support you and they'll get behind you and they want to be a part of what you're doing. So basically I've learned the importance of community, because without an audience it's just rehearsal. So we really need people across the country to come to the shows, and they do time after time again, and it always surprises me. But just to feel that support, that's a wonderful thing.
Well, thank you so much for your time there, Johnny.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.